Hi, this is Jacques Taylor, and you're listening to Jacques Talk. This is a podcast where I talk about the Cowboys, the team I've covered as a beat writer, columnist, TV insider, and radio host for 28 years. I'll also talk about the NFL and the things I love, working out, streaming, food, and all things down. Welcome to Jacques Talk, where sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a day, or a month from now. I'm going to give you the truth straight, no chaser. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get it. Welcome, my friends, to episode 131 of Jacques Talk. I'm Jacques Taylor, joined by my boy Big Joe in the Big Rig. What's sit rep, bro?
Finally, we are 49 seconds in. The light is red, and we are 5 by 5. Operation Jacques Talk is a go.
Now, Joe don't want to hear none of this, but let me tell y'all what happened this morning. I'm sitting at the desk at 8:49. So that's plenty of time to get started, plenty of time to hook up and talk to Joe. But then me and Content Dave started this conversation, talking about being small business owners and the pros and cons of it, and all the BS.
I'm sitting here for 10 minutes.
So you sitting there for 10 minutes because we done got engrossed in this conversation.
That's enough for me to hang up on your ass right now.
And then I was like, "Oh snap, dog," because I was in place ready to go.
Yeah.
And I got that old man brain. Sometimes I be multitasking. I will tell you that we both got cussed out on Twitter because neither one of us came up with DeMarco Murray for number 29. So we both took one to the chin on that one. I said, well, he shouldn't have left, and then we would have remembered him. That was my snarky comeback. 31, got to be Benny Barnes, unless you got somebody else in mind.
No, I'm thinking about them 10 minutes I ain't gonna get back.
Come on, man. When you 94 years old and your oxygen chamber is empty, I will go get you another one and save you the 10-minute walk.
I got people for that.
But I'm going to do it because
I got people for that.
Okay, man. If you don't want to accept my apology.
Yeah, nope.
Well, let's call Archer.
Roger
since
that.
You want to be mean to me this morning.
No.
I mean, you spent a lot of time on the rock you couldn't get back.
Oh, bro.
Serving our country, defending our honor and our rights.
Stop it.
And I appreciate that.
Stop it.
I don't know if I ever told you. Thank you for your service, man.
Yeah, that's real. What do we call that? False sincerity.
Truthful, honest.
We call that term for
loving,
that
caring.
False sincerity.
You know, Dave said we was going to get Spicy Joe this morning. I said, no, I don't really think so.
Well, when y'all BSing for 10 minutes and I'm waiting on y'all to ask, that's what you going to get.
What's up?
What's up, bro? Have you been to the beach
What's
yet?
going on? I've walked by the beach, if that's what you want to know.
Oh, all right. Well, it's Todd Archer, brought to us each and every Wednesday by Smokey John's Barbecue, home of the Jam Session Bowl, 1820 West Mockingbird. Swing through there. Pick you up some Jam Session Bowl and some Wing Wednesday. How about that? Smoked wings on Wednesday from Smokey John's, baby. You can't beat them. If you know, you know. So, what's the biggest story out there, bro? It's Todd. What training camp is this for you, Arch? 21?
Cowboys training camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, 04 was my first Cowboys training camp. But 90, oh boy, let me think about this. 96, I covered some Bengals training camp at Wilmington College.
I've been there. I've been there a time or two.
So that would have been the first one. So how many years is that?
About 28. You was only one behind me if you started in 96. So yeah. What's the big story for you out of training camp? Because there's about 3 or 4 to pick from.
I mean, I don't know how it's not CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and I think we need to stop talking about Micah Parsons getting an extension because they're not even talking. So that's a back burner issue until next year when we can talk about Micah not being here in Oxnard for training camp as he awaits a big deal because we know that's not going to happen. So,
right.
I mean, it has to be the two guys that they've not yet signed. One here, Dak, one not here, CD, and how they come to the end result of getting both guys signed. It's my belief, maybe I've said it to you guys before, if they don't sign Dak before the preseason ends, there's not going to be a deal, in my mind.
Okay.
Why would Dak do a deal?
Right. I'm with you on that.
So there is a deadline on that.
Well, let me ask you this, because Joe brought up an interesting topic the other day, which is, are they screwed whether they sign him or not? Meaning, if they sign him, they're cap strapped and it's hard to do business and operate and do all the things you want to do. And if they don't sign him, then they ain't got no quarterback.
I would say you're less screwed if you sign him because you have the quarterback. And cap strapped and all that stuff, it's all to degrees, right? Like, how are these other teams able to sign their guys? Like Detroit signed 2 offensive tackles to big money deals, a wide receiver to a top deal, and Goff to a top deal. Now you can make the argument that they didn't have anybody else in that team that was signed to big time deals, so it's easier for them to do that. Well, show me all the big time deals the Cowboys have right now. Like, yeah, okay, you got, besides Dak on the last year of his deal, right? CD's on a 5th-year option. It counts 17-9. That's not big time.
Right.
DeMarcus Lawrence is on the last year of his deal. He counts 21 or so against the cap. I guess that's a big time deal still, but it's the last year of his deal. Zach Martin, he's on the last year of his deal. Like, where are all the big time deals that the Cowboys have? Philadelphia is able to sign 5 guys at $20 million a year deal, I believe. How are they able to do it? So, even if they sign Dak, they sign CD, next year they can still do things. It's whether they want to or not and how they want to structure their cap going forward.
Right. I think the Cowboys they're forever telling you some BS to me and expecting you to believe.
I mean, it's not that it's not true. Yeah, but it's not that it's not true. It's lengths of truth, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I say they're always telling you some BS, I mean, when they, if you're going to bring up Justin Jefferson's deal, you say, well, that's an inordinate contract. We don't really think about that one. Well, you only want to use the contracts that make you feel good about what you're trying to do.
Right.
And you just made me think when you were talking like, well, we got a roster with 15 Pro Bowls on it. Stop. I mean, stop it, bro. Zeke Elliott has been a Pro Bowler. He's been one of the best players in the league.
Again,
he's my favorite
it's true,
Buckeye.
though, right?
Yeah.
It's not a lie.
Hey, man, you try telling that to your beautiful wife, Courtney, and see if you're not sleeping on the couch for a couple of days.
What am I going to tell her? That they have 15 Pro Bowlers? I'd say I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, one of those lies where she knows you told the truth, but it wasn't the whole truth, the truth, and nothing but the truth. That's why they make you say that on the Bible.
This is one thing that I don't like. When we've talked about how I believe the Cowboys have to change the message in getting guys to sign deals early, you can't be coming to me with, we don't have state tax. It's a cheaper cost of living. Da 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 da. Like, they don't. That's not working anymore, right? I mean, if it was working,
that works on 1 out of 100 players,
right? It might work on guys that have not made big time money yet.
Right.
An undrafted free agent like Terrence Steele, maybe that was persuasive to him because Terrence in his first 3 years really didn't make any real money, and he was coming off an injury. And he's like, "I'm getting mine now. Like, I'm going to take this."
Which is smart on his part.
Right. Trayvon Diggs, maybe, that's a little bit of an anomaly now, but his money, he's averaging $19.4 million. At some point, he's going to be a below market cornerback, and he's going to hold out a training camp towards the end of his deal, looking to get a contract extension or a pay raise. Right. So that's why I just think, again, it's true. Yeah. There are no state taxes. It's cheaper than compared to Minnesota's tax code, and its cost of living is cheaper. Yeah, we get all that stuff, but that stuff's not hitting home anymore. And I don't know why they continue to trot out the same messages when they know it's not working.
And to me, I think this is the issue sometimes. When you're in a position where you own the team and you're in these types of positions which is, I mean, people can only tell you so much, but ultimately you do what you want to do. And so they continue to operate that way because they think it's the best way. And there's no threat of if it don't work, we lose our job. And so we operate the way we operate. We won 3 Super Bowls operating like this, even if it happened 30 years ago. So, I think they just got some staleness to them. And I'm going to put it like this, man. I went to lunch. I'll tell y'all who it is off the air. With a friend of mine. He's a colleague. This was about 3 weeks ago. And he was talking about doing something. And I said, well, all you got to do is go on your phone and go to the app. I don't like apps. And I was like, huh? I just don't like them. I just want to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. I don't want an app telling me what to do. And I was like, dude, are you serious? He was like, yeah, I can't stand it. The only apps I got on my phone are the ones I absolutely need. I don't use any other ones.
That sounds like Clarence. Are you talking about Clarence?
No. But I just started laughing. Now, this is not even a football guy, but everybody, all you guys know him. But I just started laughing. I'm like, dude, you got to get over this, man. Join the 21st century, man. Add some technology to your life. It's okay. And that's what the Cowboys are to me. They just want to do it their way. And, it just is what it is. That's why they still want to wait to the end where every contract's been done. And even though the price has never gone down. And it can be frustrating when, people won't accept basic technology. Like, why don't you just get on a horse then?
Here's another, like, we know a lot of people who work in the organization, not football players, right?
Yeah. And
the general feeling is from the top of the organization, like, we're the Cowboys. You should want to work for us. You should be happy that you're working for us. And it's almost like that's bled into the football part of it, where, like, we're the Cowboys. Why would you want to go anywhere else? You can make all this money by doing this ad or doing this TV spot or doing this, that, and that. Like, yeah, that's true. I'll give you my own example. 2007 or 8, had a chance to go back to the Boston Globe, my hometown paper, my dream job to cover the NFL. I turned it down because probably. I turned it down because they didn't cover a cost of living increase.
Oh, yeah,
that's true. I can't take a pay cut. Like, and my wife's not going to have a job. So that was the place you know me, like that was the place I dreamed of working and being at forever. And I had to say no. Like the brand, in that case, the Boston Globe, one of the best papers, sports sections in the country, wasn't enough to get me because I had to think of other things like cost of living got me on that one. It kept me in Dallas. So I think the Cowboys use all of the look what the star can do for you. Look what the brand can do for you. We don't have state taxes. We have nice weather. We have school systems in the spots of the town that you will live in that are really good.
Right.
So that doesn't work anymore.
You just made me think of something funny. Do you find it odd that your daughters consider themselves Texans and not Minute Women?
Yeah, that was not a good joke. So no, I mean,
yeah, it was funny to him.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all that matters.
No, it don't.
I just thought it was funny that they consider themselves Texans because that's all they've ever known. Although they get back to New England area fairly frequently. All right, so what is the solution to this? Or let me ask you a better question. It's kind of two-pronged, but the first answer is, if we assume, and we're stepping out there, if we assume they don't get Dak done, who are the odds on your quarterback next year? Is it a bridge guy or a first-round pick guy?
It's both, isn't it?
I guess it could be both.
Right. I mean, that's and I just want to say real quick, like, so far it sounds like we're just blaming the Cowboys for these things, right? And we're saying they're the reason why they wait too long. I'm not of that belief. I think their other side has a part in these things taking so long as well, because they've cracked the code. Dak cracked the code, basically. If you wait, the better you'll be better off.
Yeah.
That's why Dak was. I have this freedom. I'm not in a position where I'm sweating this, that, and the other. When he talked to him last week, some of it is because he knows I'm going to get pick a number from the Cowboys, or I'm going to get pick a number from another team next March. Like, he's in a good spot. So there is an element of these people, the other side, the players and the agents, waiting. And we said it before, CD was not going to do a deal before Justin Jefferson's contract. Because let's say CD did a deal last year and it paid him $29 million, just under what Tyreek Hill was getting from Miami, right? If you're looking at average per year, whether it's legit or not. Let's say it was 29. How do you think CD's feeling today if Justin Jefferson gets 35?
Okay, but why? And correct me if I'm wrong. All these other receivers signed, so CD is the only one who's smart enough to say, "Hey, I'm just going to wait for Justin Jefferson."
I would say yes, because some of the other receivers that have signed that you would put in the argument as top one, the top receiver in the league. It's not Amon-Ra St. Brown, really good player, but he's not. Who would ever consider him in the top of the, one of the top? What do we want to say CD is? Top 4?
I'd say top 4 or 5. Top 5.
Okay,
that's always a good way to.
That's not Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think A.J. Brown's in the top 5. I don't think Devontae Smith is in the top 5. Who else got paid this year? Brandon Ayuk's not paid yet, but I don't think he's in the top 5. So okay. I think that would be my pushback on that.
Okay, no worries. So I think, and I think the other Dak thing, other offshoot of the Dak question is, what does Trey Lance look like in this very early portion of training camp?
I mean, if you go on Twitter, he's not completed a pass the entire time he's been out here.
Dude.
So, always take that with an amount of skepticism, because you can show him missing badly, but you're not showing him making a good play. He's been, and again, it's been some good and it's been some not so good.
Right.
Not unexpected, but again, the pads haven't come on. It's not like a real deal yet. Things are different. But I would say the 2-minute drills, the last 2-minute drills that he's run, that in practice, he moved his team down the field. The first time to set up a timed field goal, I think he missed one pass, maybe 2, but 1 for sure. The second one, they needed a touchdown to tie the game. He got to the goal line, and they were stopped on 4th and goal as time expired. So he's like, in the game-like situations, he's put his team in spots to be there. So I'm not ready to say he's the answer, and I'm not ready to say he's a slug either. Like, let's give it some time before we make and the problem is, like, all these aggregating sites that have huge followings, that'll take a snippet from someone's practice shot, will extrapolate that out to, this is the world's worst quarterback, this is the world's greatest quarterback, this is the world's worst receiver, this is the world's greatest receiver, all that stuff. It's like there's no in between. And when you're in between, you're boring, so no one wants to be boring, except me, I guess, because I just said, let's be a little patient on what we're talking about.
They've been doing that to your boy Daniel Jones from the Giants all week, man. I ain't seen him complete a single pass on Twitter since training camp started. Joe, you provide the fan element to this show. If Dak is not your quarterback, what do you want them to do for quarterback?
I don't know. I mean, they got to draft one.
And I think the issue with drafting them, as we've discussed, as I said, Arch, you definitely got to take him in the first round if you want the best chance to succeed, and you really need him top 10 if you want the very best chance to succeed. And then none of that is any kind of guarantee whatsoever that they will succeed.
Right, and there's no guarantee that the free agent that you sign is going to be super either. So there's no guarantee in any of this stuff, which is a bad argument. But I have to do more of a look at this.
Yeah.
Remember when Parcells told us out here, you can't just 1-800 quarterback this thing.
Right.
Again, yeah, it was a good line, and we all laughed, and it's probably true to a degree, but I think now that's changed. I think it is 1-800 quarterback to a degree. Because if you want a guy in the top 10, trade up and go get him. How many guys? What did Philly do? And again, ultimately, it didn't work out. But no one at the time was, when they made the deal, was saying, "What in the world are they doing?" They traded up from wherever they were to go get Carson Wentz at number 2 overall,
and he was good for like 2 years.
Right, in his second year, he was an MVP, and they went to a Super Bowl based with that roster with Foles, right? But he was an MVP that season before getting hurt late. You trade up. I think Buffalo traded up for Josh Allen. You're seeing teams that will make moves to get it done.
We saw San Francisco mortgage the future, so to speak,
for Trey Lance. Didn't work out. I got you.
and it don't look like their future's been mortgaged.
Right.
They still seem to be doing okay. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's and maybe I was wrong when I said, well, I haven't changed my opinion. They look like an 8-9 team to me this year, for a variety of reasons. But my point in saying that was I don't think they'll be drafting low enough to go get one of those top 3 quarterbacks who's supposed to come out or who's supposed to be available based on what we know today. But now that I think about it, okay, say you end up 8-9 and you're 15th in the draft. Maybe it's this year's first round and next year's first round and the second round, and they'll go get your quarterback and keep it moving if that's the guy that you want.
Right. I mean, to me, be bold. Don't just sit there and say, "Well, we can't move up in the draft. We're stuck at 15." You can.
Okay, now see. But here's my other issue with that, because it's a good conversation to me because it's all realistic. Now it sounds strange, and maybe I think nationally people are just now kind of figuring this out. You tell me, I have my own thought. When's the last time the Cowboys were bold?
In which respect?
I would say the draft, and they did something, and you said,
trading, moving up to get Mo Claiborne in 2012 was the last time that they made a bold move.
Exactly.
Off the top of my head.
That's a long time.
And that's also the last time they made a big play in free agency when they signed Brandon Carr. I think it was 2012, maybe it was 2011. But yeah.
It's like that girl cheated on them, and they just decided I'm going to be single for the rest of my life.
I think if the Cowboys believe that Brandon Carr was a bad free agent signing, then they're just idiotic. Brandon Carr was
he was a good player.
Good player for 5 years. He played really well. Did you want more interceptions? Absolutely, you wanted more interceptions. But the guy lined up. He was there every week. He played well. He was a good player.
Right.
And that's what, Anthony Henry, when they paid him, was a good player. Like, yeah, sometimes you're obviously paying great player money. And I don't mean to dog Brandon by saying he was good. I think he was better than good. Like, He was a guy who lined up and played well. And yeah, he got beat sometimes. So guess what? They all do. Like,
it's like I tell Clarence, there's a difference between bum and great.
Yeah.
Everybody's not one or the other. There's several varying degrees of gray in there. And so my point of this is, do you think that they're built mentally to make a bold move these days? Because it's been a minute since they made one.
I don't know how you can say yes anymore. I mean,
so that's kind of I don't know. I don't want to be overly dramatic. It feels like but the more we talk about it, feels like they're kind of at a crossroads.
I don't even know it's a crossroads. I think they've already crossed the road. They've not been a team to take these chances. They've not been a team to spend in free agency. They've been a team that's, what would Jerry call it? The grandmother's retirement fund or whatever. Like that's what they're managing. I mean, that's how they're operating. And look, they've won 36 games the last 3 years. Like,
right?
It's not like you can say it's not working. It's not working because they're not getting to a Super Bowl, but it's not working because they're not getting. It's not. It's working how they're doing it because they're. I hate the term around the rim. I hate that freaking term, but they are at least getting there every year and not just being relevant for being the Cowboys. They're relevant because they have 12-5 rosters the last 3 years. Now, whose fault is it to not get them past that? I think we put Joe to sleep.
What'd you say?
I said, how you feel about that? Being around the rim, but not cashing in.
Well, I mean, if we happy with 12-5 every year and losing in the first round, we might as well be like the Detroit Lions or a lesser franchise, because the standard here is we want a Super Bowl.
But I'm not saying you're happy. People need to be happy with it, but it certainly beats the alternative, right?
I don't know. It's that old thing where I always say I'd rather lose by 30 than lose by 1. I mean, I'd rather just go on suck, get it out the way, than every year get teased with 12-5, and we're gonna do it, and we got a chance, and then they do the same thing.
But see, I think the issue that the franchise faces is, you could say, I think we ought to go down and rebuild and get it out of the way. Well, that makes it sound like there's a process and a formula for it, and maybe you get better, maybe you don't. Maybe you stay bad for 8 years or 10 years until that next dude roll through. So it's it's a tricky thing, and that's why I said they're at the crossroads. Because if you lose your quarterback and you start and you get on the quarterback roulette table, maybe you hit the guy and it's just a very quick bump and you back up and running, or maybe you have that 6 or 7 year stretch where you 5-11 because you don't have anything close to that guy.
But in Joe's mind, that's okay. Right?
As long as you're trying to get that guy, trade him out every year until you find that guy.
Well, my problem is this. Okay, we keep Dak and we don't put nothing around him. We just got Dak and a bunch of guys. You know, that's been the status quo for the Cowboys right now. Look at the roster as it's constructed. Look at how the roster looks today.
It's 15 Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. What I'm just saying is what are we gonna do? We signed Dak, we signed CD. Are we gonna be 500? Are we gonna be 12-5 and do the same thing? I mean, it's just you gotta excuse my my mood today, cause people don't know how to act today, Todd. So I'm a little sideways today.
Okay.
So it ain't you.
Right.
But I just think I think they should make up their mind what they want to do, because they don't. I don't think they cap strap. I think are you going to just sign Dak and do what you're doing this year? Are you going to try to build around him? Or what are we working toward? Because everybody keeps saying 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. It's a watered down in the division this week. We get beat by teams over 500. I don't see it. I don't see a change. I don't see it.
I think Joe hits the apathy of the current fan on the head. Like I think this is as low buzz there has been about the Cowboys since I've been covering them, especially out here in Oxnard so far, in terms of interest. And just, I think that Green Bay loss, and I'm not speaking for Joe here, but just in general, I think that Green Bay loss took a lot out of everybody, where they're just like, F it. Yep. I don't care anymore. And until they get back,
it's a toxic relationship is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh hell, I know all about those.
Yeah, you do.
I think it was the nature of the butt whooping last year. All the expectations, still the division at the end with some help from a Eagles meltdown. Get home field where you've been great all year, and Jen to just get smacked like that. You're probably right. That probably did take a lot out of a fan base that had.
I mean,
so
it
much
wasn't even a game. Let's be honest.
It was never. It was kind of never a game. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of over.
Yep.
Very quickly, or very quickly, it was drive. Like, oh,
it's 27-0 in the second quarter.
I mean, damn.
Frank Reich wasn't coming in to save the day.
Yeah.
No, so that's that. That was a much longer Dak-driven conversation than I thought, but it's kind of hard to move on when you don't know what your quarterback's going because you don't know the direction of the franchise, whether you're rebuilding, whether you're reloading, or what you're doing. And so, that's amongst the reasons why I think this is a down year. Now, we'll see what happens when they get to the end of training camp. Maybe my mind will change. But they got so many moving parts off the field. And then, they got issues on the field they got to fix. And then to me, the fact that they play the AFC North and the first place schedule, that's a lot to work through for this particular team. What's the impact that Sam Williams' season-ending knee injury will have on the defense?
I think it's probably bigger than what we think based on what Williams has done his first 2 seasons. Remember, Dorrance Armstrong gone, Dante Fowler gone. They want to move Micah around more, so there were going to be more opportunities for him to put his hand on the ground and go. Right now, they like what Marshawn Nealon's done, but just like I said about Trey Lance, can we wait to see him in a padded practice before he's doing some good things?
Yeah.
So, and then after that, the only other defensive end, and he's really kind of a tackle end. Chauncey Golston, he's the only other guy with a sack on the defensive line. He has 1.5 last year. So, to me, in my mind, they have to go out and find a veteran guy that's available. And there are some guys, Yannick Ngakoue and Carl Lawson, and guys like that, and fill a hole, because that's a hole. I don't know if that's something you wait for. Hey, we'll claim this guy off waivers from Jacksonville and say, whoa, he's going to help us. I mean, that's just hitting and hoping. I'd rather have a guy that I know, and that without looking at those guys' stats in front of me, I know the guy can get me 5 sacks and be helped by playing with Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence, right? So, that's a pretty tough loss in my mind. Not because of what Williams has done yet. He's got 8.5 sacks in 2 years. He has more penalties than probably anybody on the defensive side of the ball. But more about the promise that he still had as a second-round pick, and now that's gone. And now that you got to go out and again, I think you have to find a guy. And this is what they need.
What's that?
They need to find. No. Well, sort of, but they need to find the George Selvey or Jeremy Mincy of the 13, 14, 15, 16 era Cowboys, whatever run that was when those guys were around. That's what they need. Like that veteran dude who can get you 6 sacks.
No, it seems like that dude should be out there, not that hard to find, but apparently he is that hard to find.
Well, and if he's out there now, I mean, that guy has to know he's not commanding big-time money. So, again, it all comes back to price tag. Here's out. Pads come on today. It's Tuesday. I don't know when this is going up. The guy that I will look at most today, Jacques, make a guess. Who do you think will be?
Tyler Guyton?
Ooh, that's a good one, but no.
Oh, okay. No,
It'll be last year's first-round pick.
Mozzie Smith?
See what Mozzie does. Let's see what Mozzie does.
All right.
Like Mike has said it.
Jr. is
like,
not a big believer in Mozzie.
I don't. What has he given us to believe in?
Oh, not much.
So I think Mike has said it. Is like it's not like they're hoping Mozzie can do something. They need Mozzie to do something. Like so.
That's a good thing. I believe that guys like Mozzie, if he has it, now that's the question. If he has it, you'll see it, because he took enough criticism that if he has it and ability to shut folks up, then you'll see it. And if he doesn't, then I just think he doesn't, and it'll be a huge miss as opposed to a big time make.
And it's not even like I'm going to prove people wrong, dude. Prove yourself right. Like don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, no, forget the outside, the fans, the media, though. You didn't do anything last year to be in a position where you can say they're wrong. No, you played 4 more snaps than we did in a playoff game, like in your first round pick, man. I mean, anything other than being called a disappointment last year. I don't know what other word you could possibly use. So show that you've got something. Show that it matters. Show some fight, to steal a Jason Garrett word. Like that's kind of what I want to see. Don't just be so passive about stuff.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. We had a group of guys we were looking at. So Mozzie, Guyton. Is there one more guy that you're interested in seeing?
I mean, not from a quote pads perspective, I guess, or maybe it is, but the Overshown kid is intriguing.
Yep.
To see what he does. I do think there needs to be some tapping of the brakes because he is coming off a torn ACL to what he can be just yet. But that's a guy that bears watching, and they're going to actually, this might sound funny to everybody, they're actually going to use linebackers this year, so they better hope he can play.
Now you're preaching to the congregation now.
That's fun.
And then you always get stuck on the bottom of the roster guys that catch your eye early, like this T. Billy Johnson receiver kid. He's really done some really good things, but now it's like, okay, it's Tyron Billy Johnson.
I know,
but they call him T. Billy. Yeah, they call him T. Billy. He can run. He's made some big plays here in training camp, and can it continue? I think Jalen Tolbert's off to a nice start here so far in CD's absence as well. Brandon Cooks is still doing really good things. So, Ferguson is Ferguson. I guess I can throw in last year's second-round pick, Schoonmaker. He's another guy. Pads come on. Let's see what he can do. He's had a couple of nice catches down the seam so far, but Pads come on. Let's see how you block him.
Can he just stay healthy? Because he ain't been
we'll
healthy
see.
in however long he's been here.
Yeah. Well, it's only his second year.
Guys,
he was hurt when he got here, and he was hurt in the offseason. Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't done anything. Anything. All right, my friend. We always appreciate you. That's Todd Archer.
Sounds great.
All right, Doc. We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
All right, brother. Todd Archer, brought to you each and every Wednesday. Smokey John's Barbecue. Love that conversation. That's really how me and Todd used to talk after work in the parking lot before we got in the car and drove home for the 10 years or 15 years we were together on the beat in some capacity or another. He's one of my favorite people. But that's the back and forth we used to have all the time. But Smokey John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. It's the place to go for the Jam Session Bowl. It's also the place to go for some of the best barbecue rub you can find. Here's a little secret for y'all. If you ain't tried this on some popcorn, just try it and thank me later, okay? Just try it and thank me later, okay? No need to do it right now. Just thank me later, seriously. But the Jam Session Bowl, it's something to live for. It's a bowl with mac and cheese or mashed potato base. Your choice out of two out of 5 smoked meats. Your boy usually rocks with the brisket and the sausage. And then all that stuff you find on a loaded baked potato, like bacon bits and cheese and sour cream and butter. All that great stuff, man. They put it on top of that. Then they drizzle it with sauce or drench it with sauce. It is food to live for. Real talk. Now, and this just happened the other day. It's enough for 2 people easy. Because my boy had one. He's like, dog, you did not lie. He sent me a picture. He said, I can't finish this thing. At least I got some leftovers for tonight. If you got a little shorty and 3 hours want to eat off of it, you will be satisfied. Trust me on this. Real talk. If you need it more immediately in your life, you can go to the website, SmokeyJohns.com. You can order the sauce or the rub off the website. Just go to the marketplace. You get the rub there, get the sauce there. You can have it to your house in a couple of days. If you got to have it today, and you can't make it over to 1820 West Mockingbird, here's all you got to do. Literally. Go to Smokey John's, what is it? Joe V Smart Mart. I had an old man moment for just a second. Joe V Smart Mart. It's a HEB subsidiary, and you get the sauce and the rub right there. You can go to any HEB in town and get the sauce and the rub. They got them all over Dallas, Burleson, McKinney, Waxahachie, Frisco, Allen. They got one in Mansfield now. And you can get the banana pudding at the Joe V's Mart, which is in Dallas right off of Wheatland. So, Smokey John's, sauce, rub. It's available all over the DFW Metroplex. All you got to do is put a little effort, and you have it at your crib today. I was going to ask you about this, man. Let's talk about this right quick. How much are you into the Summer Olympics thus far?
A little bit.
I haven't really got into it much because I can appreciate swimming because I covered it for a long time. I mean, I probably covered 5 or 6 state swimming meets, maybe more than that, between my time in Columbus, Ohio, when I was in school, and my first year or two at the morning news. So I don't mind it, but I forgot, man, because you only bring out your patriotism in sports so often because it's just not a time for it. I ended up watching the men's gymnastics last night, which I can't say. I don't remember ever watching it. And this was the floor exercises. And the announcers did a really good job of explaining it. But the guys on the team were so pumped up and so excited and so into it, they snatched me into it, man. And I ended up watching probably 30 minutes of the men's gymnastics last night. I didn't know any of those guys, and I was shocked that they had a black gymnast on the team because that's not something black men usually participate in at the Olympic level. But it was really cool to see the patriotism, nationalism on display last night. And it kind of got me excited because it spurred on my rooting interest. What part of the Olympics have you been watching thus far? Basketball or something else?
Oh, I saw Simone Biles. I saw Frederick Richard, or I don't know if it's Richard or Richard. I saw him do.
Is that the black gymnast?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. It was terrific. Like, I thought the announcer was good because unless you're a gymnastics person, you can see a wobble or whatever, but you don't really know what it means. And he was like, "Oh, he had that little hop right there. That's going to cost him 1/10 of a point. He did this," and so I thought that was cool that the announcer was in there, was spreading it out for us. And now, do you get emotionally invested in the Olympics?
Yeah. Yeah, the story you get wrapped up in the story. You get the background and all of that stuff, and I enjoy watching that stuff with my wife because she knows a lot of the stuff going on, and she was retelling me the Simone Biles story and stuff, her background and all of that, with her parents and her grandparents adopted her and all of that, and
yeah,
you know, just where they came from. That's always been part of the Olympics. You know, where they came from, what they had to overcome, and you know, what kind of adversity that they had while they performing. Just different stuff like that.
Well, you know, it's always a reminder to me. And I don't even know if I need a reminder, but it is a reminder that you know, just everybody's got a story, man. And I got caught up in your boy, the gymnast whose mom died from cancer in 2012, and then he was doing his routine last night, and their team ended up winning a medal for the first time in forever, like 2 or 3 Olympiads. And so I was like, this is pretty cool right here. So that to me, you know, is one of the cool reminders of the Olympics. And you're right, I think it's the stories that draw you into these different sports. And I'm reminded, because I had the privilege to cover the Winter Olympics in 2012 in Vancouver. And I was really struggling trying to figure out how to cover all these sports that I was unfamiliar with. Whether it was ice skating, which at least I had seen at a, you know, very basic level, or something like the biathlon where you got to cross-country ski and shoot at the same time, or, you know, ski jumping and all of this. And I was about, you know, the Olympics, when you're a reporter, lasts a long time. That's about 3 weeks on the road. And it's a different kind of experience because, man, like when I was in Vancouver, here's how the day went, bro. You would get up and you had to catch a bus to the Olympic Center. And, you know, these are the Winter Olympics in Vancouver, so it's cold. Well, you got to walk, dog, like a mile to the bus stop. Now, you know I'm a Texan. I got a car. I ain't walked a mile on a regular basis in forever. And so when you covering the ski jumping like I did 2 or 3, 4 days in a row, you got to walk a mile to the bus stop. Then you got to catch the bus, and the bus take you about 10, 15 minutes to get downtown to the Olympic Center. And then, dudes, you go in there, you pick up whatever supplies you need for the day in terms of media guides and that kind of stuff. And if you cover ski jumping, hey, bro, ski jumping is not in Vancouver. Ski jumping is in Whistler. Whistler is 3 hours away, bro. I mean, it's like driving to Austin from here. So you got to take a bus to Whistler, get off the bus, go get on another bus so you can go to that venue, cover the venue, cover the event all day, write about it, and then guess what you got to do? You right. Catch the bus back to the original bus stop, then take that 3-hour ride back home, take that other bus back to the bus stop, and then walk your butt that mile back to the hotel, pass out, and go to do that thing again the next morning. And so, I mean, it takes you about a few days to get into the routine where it's not quite so hard on your body or your mental. But it took me about a week, man, to figure out that I need to quit trying to write about all these different sports and do what you said, which is write about the people and their individual stories and what makes them special as individuals. And once I did that, I had a great time doing it because I like telling stories and I like listening to people's stories and hearing what their stories were. And so once I figured that out, the Olympics became a much better event for me. Did you pay any attention to the opening ceremonies and the controversy involved in that?
Nah, what's up?
Oh, well, now I was a little taken aback by this, but the Olympic ceremonies were wild, and it was based.
You talking about putting them on boats and stuff?
No, I'm talking about where they had it appeared, if you didn't know any better, that they were it was some kind of thing where they were mocking the Lord's Supper, and they were having this wild kind of party, and you know a lot of Christians were outraged, including a couple friends of mine, and I found something on Twitter that explains it pretty well and pretty quickly, because there's a lot of outrage from the Christian community about why would you mock God like this? I'm boycotting the Olympics. I'm not going to watch. And I will say this, I'm like you. I didn't pay much attention to it at first because I'm not a guy who watches something like the opening ceremonies. But I heard so much about it that I went to check it out. And my first thought was, if you're an outraged Christian, and again, you know, I'm a Christian. I wasn't outraged by it, but my first thought is, why would somebody put together some worldwide event like the Olympics that they know that every country in the world is going to be looking at, everybody's going to be studying, watching, and do something that would mock Christianity and the Last Supper? That just didn't make sense to me off the rip. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, who would do that? Why would you mock any religion at a sporting event like that? And it turns out that it wasn't the Last Supper that they were recreating. They were creating this feast known as Dionysus, which was the Greek gods. And so that made sense because you're talking about the Greek gods, you're talking about the Olympics, which were organized first in Greece. And so it made sense then. I think the issue was that's so close to what people got upset about that it wasn't worth doing. You know how sometimes you put yourself in a situation, you're like, you know what? I shouldn't even put myself in a situation to get caught up in this mess. And to me, that's kind of what it was. Because, dude, they talked about this for 2 or 3 days about, people were just outraged. One of my boys was like, I'll never watch the Olympics. They're mocking God. They're doing this. They're doing that. What's wrong with our society? What's wrong with the world? And then it turned out not to be that. And so sometimes it made me think. And I try to do this. I'm not always successful, but it's like, let me just do a little research before I pop off on something, because I might not know. I don't know what I don't know. And if it don't make sense to you, sometimes it's okay to do a little research before you jump in some unknown waters. You know?
I hear you.
But let's move on to the block, my brother. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. I hadn't talked to him in several years, probably. And I was asking what his kids were doing. And he kind of took a deep breath and he said, one of them studying aviation. I said, oh, that's cool. I said, I got a friend of mine whose daughter's into that. And then he said, and he's doing this and doing that. He said, the other one is out in L.A. in the music scene. I said, is he singing? Is he dancing? Is he performing? What's he doing? He said he's making beats for rappers. And I said, oh, okay. I said, my brother's in the rap business. And so I got his name. I said, I'm going to pass his name along to my brother because my brother's out in L.A. And if you're in the music world, there might be 6 degrees of separation. And they may find some use for each other. And he said, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I said, what do you think about that? And he said, well, he's 19. I think he said he's 22, 23. He's chasing a dream. And, it's okay. But, he's got to find a way to live out there and do his thing. And if he could do that, that's great. He goes, his mom isn't that crazy about it. I said, you know what, man? I said, it's just one man's opinion, my favorite phrase. I said, I think it's great that you're giving your kid a chance to chase a dream, even though it's kind of unconventional. You're kind of there as a safety net. But, it's hard when you're trying to do something that nobody in your family has done, or that's, really hard to break into as a field to reach it, whether it's professional athletics or whether it's, being in the music business, or even in your form of business, man. If your dream was to be a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret or a Ranger or any of that, that ain't it for everybody, and everybody can't understand your dream. So I'm always cool when parents allow their kids to chase their dreams, even if it's not their dream, or even if they wish they would do something else. Because, as long as you're trying to contribute to society, it's just cool when people set out on their own thing and try to do something that ain't been done before, that they don't have an example for. So I enjoy that, because when I was trying to be a columnist, I probably told y'all before, there wasn't a lot of black columnists out there. And so I was kind of trying to chase something where there just weren't a lot of examples. So you try to go down your own road. And, even if I look at my son now, who wants to be in the financial world, there's a lot of people in the financial world. But when you're trying to own your own business and make your own million, well, that's kind of different. And it's not a traditional job. And it's like, so how you going to pay your rent, bro? Because you're getting to that point where you need to be able to take care of yourself and all of this. And so it's trying to coach them along that way without interfering. It's just, to me, it's the hard part about being a parent. Allowing your kids to fail or giving them the opportunity to fail. Even when they're, as they start off on their own path. So that moved me yesterday. What you think about it when your daughter went into her field? Because that's kind of a male-generated field.
I just support her. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I just supported. You know, I created a environment where they can try to do what they want to do within reason. You got a plan? What do you want to do? What's your plan? You know, what's the foundation of what you want to do? You just can't willy-nilly go do some stuff. You just what do you want to do? And I made sure that when I realized they were smart enough to do stuff, I made sure I did my part.
What was your part?
My part is to make sure they have an environment to succeed. That means my part is to make sure they have a home. My part is to make sure that I'm stable. Make sure that even when somebody starts shit with me on my job, I don't go willy-nilly and go crazy, and I don't have no job, and now I can't feed them, and now they don't have opportunity. I make sure that I don't drink and drive. I make sure that I don't, just different stuff. If I'm getting arrested or I'm whooping somebody's ass or I'm quitting a job because people is late or unprofessional, I'm not doing my family no good. So That's what I'm saying. You got to do your part. I always told my kids, I'm committed to you like you committed to me. That means I'll deliver this stuff. I'll drive this truck. I'll sweep the streets, whatever I got to do. As long as you do what you got to do. You do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. That's the thing right there. So that's my thing with the support. She could have been anything she wanted, but she had to want to be something.
Right.
That's that. I don't all that like when you talk about, I was a scout in the service. I didn't dream to be a scout, but guys do dream to be Rangers. Yep. That's a different type of dream. You go do that or you don't, but you still can be in the service. If you fall short, you still can be a good soldier. Being a producer is more risky as far as whether if you fail, maybe you're gonna keep washing dishes or whatever you're doing other than being a producer. Maybe you can get 5 or 6 jobs or different jobs, and you can do something while you learn to produce.
I think that's a great point. I think my brother, like I said, he's in the music business, and he's trying to be a performer. But what I've always told him is, you can be a performer. You can be a performer till you can't be a performer. But there are other things you can do in the music business if you want to be around it. I said, your brother is the great example. Meaning, clearly, I was not going to be good enough to play any kind of professional sports. I love sports. I want to be around sports. So what are the jobs I can do to put me around sports? I can be a reporter. You can be in the public relations. You can be in the marketing. You can be an agent. There's a million jobs that can put you around professional sports if that's your passion. And so I told him, I said, hey, man, there's a million things you can do in the music business to be around it if performing doesn't work out for you. So perform for as long as you can, and then if it don't work out, go ahead and pivot to one of these other 10,000, parents. Oh, you spending too much time on them games, it's just playing. Well, there's a part of that that's true. Now, you can't not be doing your homework because you're doing video games. But, somebody makes these video games.
Well,
like,
my
puts
rule,
the code in.
My rule for video games was pretty simple. No Monday through Friday, no video game. Friday night, Friday afternoon, you get off class, you get out of school, you can play till Sunday night.
Right.
That's it. Monday through Friday, no video game. And the better the games got, the easier it was to tell, because the game's gonna say, when you got Xbox and all that, it's gonna say you logged on. You logged on.
That was Mama. Mama
time.
Logged on. That wasn't me.
Yeah, no, Mama don't play. So it's whatever. But that was my thing. I would tell anybody with a dream, lower your expectations and raise your work ethic, and you'll always get somewhere.
That's interesting. What does that mean?
That means work your ass off and lower your expectations. That means don't expect to get it done right now. If you working, it'll come faster than you think if you put the hard work in.
All right.
Most time. But you gotta lower your expectations. You can't say, hey, I gotta, like, I play a little acoustic guitar. If I decide I'm going to Nashville, then my expectations need to be real low. And I need to work my ass off, try to get in there, because I can sing just a little. I can play just a little. What am I expecting to do? Get a record deal the first day I get there? See what I'm saying? If ever.
Yeah.
I might be the guy. Yeah. I might be the guy driving the truck for the record company. As far as I know, that's one of them little jobs you were saying on the side. I might end up doing that or doing security or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying that's, and I got that line from Benicio del Toro, one of my favorite actors. He said that about Hollywood. He said, when you come to Hollywood, up your work ethic and lower your expectations.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I can see it, I can see both things being true. Like, I want to be Tom Cruise, but I understand I might have to wash some dishes and be in some plays that 6 people show up to on my way to being Tom Cruise. And I might not ever be Tom Cruise. I'm just working toward that. Because, that's like being LeBron James.
Yeah,
There's only a handful of them.
You can be Terry Crews. Just be standing around on the set of what is that? What was the Denzel Washington movie? Where he played the cop, the dirty cop.
Oh, you talking about
Training Day?
Training Days.
Be standing around on the set of Training Day. Hey, you come here. Be an extra right here. That was his start right there.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. See, learn something new every day. I didn't know that. No, I was going to talk about this, but I'm just going to go. I won't skip over it and go straight to it. I was looking up something, and it had some cool. I think I was on. I can't remember where I was looking, but it had these cool gadgets. I'm a gadget guy. I like electronics. I like all this little gadgety stuff. And so I was looking at something that had all these little newfound gadgets coming out in 2024. And I was like, okay, this is cool, this is dumb, this is cool, this is cool, this is dumb, this is dumb. And I just absorbed it and said, I might could buy something like that. But then the point of this, man, is I saw this movie yesterday on Netflix while I was multitasking. And it was an Asian movie. I think it was Chinese. And normally I wouldn't watch one of those, but it was really interesting to me. And here's the plot: this woman came across a camera, like a phone, and if she took your picture in it, she would remove you, like you would be deleted. So, like if you pose for the picture, and they took your picture, you get absorbed into the phone, and you just disappear from the planet. And I was thinking, would you want one of those, man?
No.
I was like, you get mad at somebody. Hey, turn around. Let me take this picture. And it doesn't matter whether they're looking at you or not. You just have to. They just have to be locked in on your frame.
Something you can buy. You can actually buy.
No. Because, there are a few things on there, but
I got things. I already got things that can remove you from the planet.
Yeah, you got them. Yeah, you have a few of them. I don't have any. But I might want to go to the gun range soon. Do I need to set up an appointment for that? How many days in advance?
Today?
No,
I'm saying as of today, hell no. After I calm down, maybe we can talk about that.
All right. Let me see. But that's all I have for you. The name of the movie is Delete. Go check it out. It's a really interesting concept. Not many movies.
Probably a good movie. Is it Chinese? Is it Chinese subtitles or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
When necessary. Yeah. They speak some English. Or I think they got it dubbed these days. So I
don't like dub.
But this is a good dub because I couldn't really tell.
I don't like dub.
Now you might be able to tell. Just check it out and see if you like it.
Here's the problem. They have some movies. I can't think of the doggone movie. It was a black guy in France. He was a master thief.
Lupin?
Lupin was dubbed with American voice. I couldn't stand it.
That's why I didn't watch the last one.
I couldn't stand it. It was like, come on, man. You can give me subtitles. I'll read that. I don't mind, but they dubbed it. Dub it with French accents at least.
Right. I feel you.
But it was like, hey, Jimmy, Come on, let's go. Y'all, man, y'all in Paris, dog, wherever y'all at. Hey, James, how you doing? No. And you know what? It was some good writing. It was a good story. I liked it, but I couldn't take the dubbing no more. Couldn't take it.
The worst movie I've seen in a long time, and I'm very tolerant of movies. I also saw that yesterday because clearly I was working a lot yesterday. Becky on Amazon Prime. It poses as a thriller, but the acting is so poor. Maybe not the acting is so poor, although it kind of is, but the script is so bad. It should give all screenwriters hope for the future.
I think that's a PSA right there, man. That's a public service announcement. That's a public service announcement. When you say movies, when you say a movie is that bad, I just don't even waste my time. That's an excellent PSA right there. That's the best thing you said this whole segment. Hey, look here. Steer clear of Becky. I love movies. I just don't like watching them where they waste my time. There's so many movies available, and there's so much more stuff you can do. And like I said, I love movies. I love acting. I might watch a movie 6 times or a series 6 times just to get the nuance of the script. Right. I will tell you that that's a PSA right there. Big time.
Well, I appreciate that.
Well, Amazon used to be garbage, but they hit or miss right now. They move, different movies and stuff. I still ain't watched the new Roadhouse.
Nah, that's
I couldn't do it, dog.
No. I feel you on that.
The first one was, hey, what was that, 1990s? 1980s?
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Hey, man, it was good. It was, it is what it is. It was good stuff. It's what you expect from a movie. Some action, some ass kicking, some slow kung fu. Real slow kung fu. But it is what it is. But no, I wouldn't. I'm not in. And Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors. So,
Well, this is all you need to know about Becky. This is rarely. I don't know that this has ever happened to me before. In the climactic scene at the end, there's a big fight.
Oh, don't do that.
No, listen to me.
Don't do that.
Listen to me.
You doing
listen
that.
to me.
You're doing
there's
the usual,
a big fight.
You're doing the usual suspects to me.
No, I'm not.
Go ahead.
There's a big fight in the climactic scene of the movie, and I just started laughing. And I laughed the last 3 minutes because it was so ridiculous. That's all I was going to say. See? That wasn't bad, was it?
I guess. I don't know. Somebody, I guarantee you, somebody liked it. Somebody liked it.
I wonder. I mean, I guess so. I mean, you could never say no movie, even the worst movie, a percentage of the people like it.
But I saw a clip from Under the Cherry Moon.
If you like Prince, then you like that movie. No matter how bad it was.
No, I love Prince, but I hated that movie. There's a lot of good actors in there.
Yeah.
A lot.
Under the Cherry Moon.
Under the Cherry Moon, I saw a clip from that. I was like, man, it was some artistic BS, That's the way I felt about it. It's like, come on, man. You got my full attention. You did a full feature movie. And we got maybe parts of the movie was good, but the overall, nah. And I think that's one of the worst movies I ever seen.
All right, you should put together a list of your 5 worst movies that you ever watched all the way through. And we'll discuss that.
What's that movie with Adam Sandler that Kevin Garnett was in? Something Diamonds.
I don't know.
That was awful.
I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan.
Yeah, I do. Adam
there's
Sandler.
A couple movies he's had that I like, but most of them I don't because they're borderline stupid to me. Other people find it very comedic.
Oh, you talking about the comedic stuff? The basketball movie he did for Netflix was pretty good.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, clearly he's great at what he does. It just ain't for me, and ain't no shame in that. But hey, man, I appreciate you. And remember, you can check out the show. We got the Patrick Creighton interview up on the Real Jacques Talk on YouTube. Please subscribe, rate, review. We do appreciate it. You can follow the show on IG at the Real Jacques Talk. You can hit me up on X, Twitter, at JJT Journalist, and then I'm also on Clapper at I am Jacques Taylor. For Big Joe and the Big Rig, until we chat again, you guys be blessed.